Good evening, dear children and families. It is Chanukah time again. Maybe you have already noticed it. In the evenings, it gets dark very early. At home, people talk about candles. Maybe the menorah is already standing on the table. Are you ready for the first candle? You know, Hanukkah is not only a beautiful holiday, it is a true story that happened a very long time ago. More than 2,000 years ago, Jewish families lived in the land of Israel. At that time, foreign kings ruled the land, and one of them was called Antiochus. Antiochus wanted everyone to live the same way and think the same way. So he told the Jews, "You may no longer keep your commandments. You may no longer celebrate your Shabbos. You may no longer live as you did before." And you know what? Many people really were afraid. Some of them really gave up their belief. But others said, "No, our faith is important to us." In a small town, there lived a man named Matityahu. He was a Cohen priest. He had 5 sons, and one of them was called Yehuda, who later became known as Yehuda the Maccabee. Matityahu and his sons said, "We will not give up." You know what they did? They fled into the mountains. They were not many, and they were not strong neither, but they stayed together. These brave people were called the Maccabees. And in the Chanukah story, we hear this name again and again, the Maccabees. Did you ever hear this name? But you know, names are not just names. Sometimes names tell us who we want to be. The Maccabees did not choose this name because they looked strong or because they were big. They chose it because of a sentence. Is that interesting? A sentence from an old song. A song Jews still know today that's written in the Holy Torah. Mi kamocha ba'elim Hashem. And that means, who is like you among the mighty Hashem? So the Maccabees, they took the first letters of this sentence, and from them came the name Maccabees. Isn't that great? Did you know that? So with this name, they wanted to say something. They wanted to say, "We do not believe only in our strength. We believe that we are not alone." When someone was afraid, they thought of this sentence. When someone was tired, they thought of this sentence. Not out loud, not shouted, quietly, in their heart. And after a long time, the Maccabees were able to take Jerusalem back. Wow! Can you believe it? A few people managed to take back Jerusalem. They entered the Beis Hamikdash, the temple. But the temple was no longer beautiful. It was dirty and damaged. They wanted to clean it and begin again. Inside the temple stood a special lamp. Do you know the name of this special lamp, dear family? Right, it's the beautiful golden menorah. It was meant to burn all the time, but they found no oil anymore with which they could light the menorah. They kept looking for oils, they kept looking for oil jars, and then they found the last small jar of pure oil which was not contaminated, just enough for one day. But then the big miracle happened. The light just did not go out. One day passed, then another, and another. And in the end, the oil burned for 8 full days. Can you believe that? One jar lights for 8 full days. That is why we celebrate Chanukah for 8 days. And that is why we light one more candle each night. So Chanukah comes to remind us of something very important. Sometimes the people who believe in what is good are not the biggest, are not the strongest. Sometimes you have no shield, no sword, no loud voice, but you have a thought, a sentence, a light inside your heart. This is the light of Chanukah. Not only the light of the candle, but the light that begins inside a person. Now Chanukah is here, dear family and dear children. The first candle is waiting. Or did you already light your first candle? Alright, I wish you a good night and happy Chanukah, dear family. Until the next Chanukah story. Good night.